Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to welcome you to another episode on my channel. Without me wasting too much time, what I intend to do on this video today is to compare real estate and stocks. Now, before you hang up on me, okay, before you say, it's one of those videos again, there are lots of videos online that I've seen myself where they're comparing returns on real estate and returns on stocks. However, in most cases, they're only considering the dividends that you get from stocks. And don't think I'm trying to be biased here, because in this video, I'm going to show you real life numbers and show you real examples of the comparison between the two. I know other videos have done this, but like I said, they are not considering every aspect of the stocks. Now, when investors invest, there are two reasons why they will invest. It might be for one or for both. You either investing for capital appreciation, okay, which for capital gains, or you're investing for cash flow, which is regular income on your investments. If you buy a property and you can do what we call forced appreciation, okay, fix it up for some money and then sell it for way higher to turn over some profit. Now that is capital gains. Or you buy it and hold it and wait for the price of the property to go up in value, and then you sell it, and the difference between the two is your profit. That is a capital gain scenario. Same with stocks. You can buy stocks, hold it, wait for it to appreciate in value if you are sure it's going to appreciate in value, or if you speculate it's going to appreciate in value, and then sell it. The difference between the price is the capital gains. But on the flip side of it, if you're investing for cash flow, for a real estate investor that invests in cash flow, what they intend to do is buy the property, rent it out, okay, and then based on their calculations, they've calculated that every expenses that they would need to maintain the property is included in the rent, and they'll still get something on top of that. That will be what they put in their pocket. In stocks, we can do the same. It doesn't have to be dividends. Even if it's not a dividend paying stocks, there are some stocks that you can write option contracts on that they don't pay dividends. And there are some stocks that pay dividends and you can write option contracts on them. So there are two ways that you can cash flow stocks. If you don't know anything about option contracts, you can give me a call, leave a comment in the description. I can talk to you about that. I teach people how to do that. And if you don't want to pay for me to show you anything, there are links in the description below for books that you can buy from Amazon, and they will take you through writing covered calls, selling cash secured puts, exit strategies, and all those things. Okay, let's get into the real nitty of it without wasting too much time. Now, we're going to start off with real estate. I have another phone here that I'll be showing you. Actually, I've started recording the screen. I have another phone here that I'll be showing you. I'll be sharing this phone in this video. Shout out to my daughter. She showed me how to record my screen. I didn't even know I could record my screen on an iPhone. So I have two iPhones here. The one recording there is an iPhone 6s, and the one here is iPhone 7. That's what I'm going to use. The camera is about the same settings anyway. So, and I paid her 10 euros for that. That's a compensation, okay? Or let's call it a bonus. We treat our employees well. I'm a capitalist, and I believe in treating employees well, okay? After exploiting her for 10 years. Anyway, let's get into this. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this. Now, I got this picture from a property investor, okay? Actually, let me do that again. It seems it wasn't showing. There it is. So I got this from a real estate investor, and this is a typical property in Ireland. So we're looking at, and what I'll be doing here is comparing like for like. So the total amount of money that will be coming out of pocket in both scenarios will be very identical, just so we can be fair. Now, on this particular example, the property is 135,000 euros. Okay, in the Republic of Ireland. Now, I'm not talking of all other places, but let's put these things into context. In the Republic of Ireland here, you are going to pay 30% deposit on a property that is not, if you're not a first-time buyer or you're not living in it, if it's not for yourself or you're not a first-time buyer, you're going to pay, if it's for rent, you're going to pay 30% deposit on that. Now, looking at this, 135,000, you get a 70% interest loan from the bank. Let's say typical of 5.45%. 30% of 135,000 is about 40,500. If you don't believe me, take your calculator out and do it. I'm not going to go into that here because it will take too much time. So So it means you're coming out of pocket, you're going to pay 40,500 euro deposits. Okay. And look at how it works out. The annual income you're expecting is 12,000 a year, which works out to be about 1,000 a month. Okay, typically. Now, in some cases, it will be a bit over. In some cases, it will be a bit below. But typically, this is how it works for this kind of property. Now, look at the expenses. In the expenses, you have interest-only mortgage of 5,150 for the year. You have the property insurance of 400 euros for the year. You have the property tax of 225 for the year. We're working our way down. You have the IPOA, which is the Irish Property Organization, Irish Property Owners Association, something like that. Is 150 a year, which is kind of the union type of thing. You have the PRTB. Now, I don't remember what the PRTB is, but you can Google that. And it's a once-off for 90 euros. Then you have repairs and maintenance, 750. You have accountancy legal fees, 200. And you have advertising expenses and real estate agents fees for 1,470. What I'm not entirely sure of is if the 1,476 is a yearly thing or if it's a once-off or whenever you want to sell a property or something. But let's just go with what we have here, okay? Total expenses, 8,441. And like it says here, it will vary with property and agents, okay? But this is a ballpark figure. Now, look at the bottom part of it. The summary, money in, the total you have in from your own pocket, okay, was 40,500. But look at the rental income. Before tax, you're getting 12,000. The annual expenses is what we just did, is 8,445. If you subtract the 8,445 from the 12,000, you're left with 3,559. 52% tax. Now, in my opinion, I think this is criminal. But who am I? Okay, who am I to go against this system? So we have 52% tax, which works out to be 1,850.55. If you divide that by 12 months, you have 142 euros per month. Now, that is the cash flow you have. This is not taking into account depreciation, amortization, and stuff like that. Okay, but that can be too much anyway. But if you're ending up with 142 and plus those, you'll be a little bit more than that. But that would be it as far as real estate is concerned. 40,500 out of pocket, and then 142 in net cash flow, and maybe plus amortization and depreciation. Now let's go into stocks. We're going to go into Yahoo Finance, and the stocks we're going to be using today is called the SPY. Now, SPY is not just a stock; it's an ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. Okay, so it's an ETF. Like I always say, if you're new and you don't know what you're doing, you're better off starting with an ETF. I am not recommending a specific one, but I would say an ETF that tracks an index will be the very good candidate, will be a very good one to start. Okay, I just bought IWM a month ago myself, and we'll see. So now let's go to the price of SPY is 412, as you can see here. Now, if you're going to do option contracts like I do, you need it in multiples of 100. So to write one option contract, you need 100. To write two option contracts, you need 200, and so on and so forth. So in this case, we're going to deal with one option contract, which means you multiply this 412 by 100, you have 41,246, which is about the same as the 40,500 that we were talking about earlier for the real estate. Now, in this case, if we go to, most people don't know this, they only wait for dividends, but let's go to where it says options here. You see options? Now, if you know how to sell, if you know how to write contracts on options, then you know what I'm talking about here. If you don't know how to do it, like I said, you can contact me or leave a comment or buy one of the books in the link description. Those were the books I used years ago when I was learning it as well. So if we look for an expiration date, 5 days from today, so 1 week expiration date. Today is the 16th, which is a Sunday, and Friday will be 21st. So if we click on 21st expiration date, and we scroll down to where the blue mark meets the white right here, you can see there is 412 on the blue and 413 on the white, which is where the price of the stock is. Now, let's say we choose to sell option contract for 416, okay, which is there, 416. If we scroll up, we're looking for the bid and the ask prices. Now, So if you see at the top here, there's the bid on the left, there's the ask on the right. The bid is what you can sell for, the ask is what you can buy for. So in this scenario, we're going to be focusing only on the bid aspect of it. If we scroll down that bid, that's the second column, okay? Forget about that came up on the screen there. That's Deliveroo, okay, offering whatever it is they offer again. Because I'm not working today. Okay, now watch. We said we're going to sell option contracts that expire for 416 that expires on Friday. What we'll be getting for that is 140. Okay, 140 because 1.4 but multiplied by 100, you have 140. If you get 140 for a week, if you multiply that by 4 for the month, where's my calculator? 140 by 4, you get 560. So this is what you're making. The chances of the option contract expiring in the money by Friday is pretty low because SPY is not that volatile. That's why I say always choose stocks that are not volatile. 560 is what you're going to be netting in your pocket a month compared to 142. Now, granted, I didn't put the amortization and depreciation in there, but if you know what percentage those are, you can add them there yourself. So there is a comparison between the two, and it's the same amount that we're both investing. In this scenario, think of it this way: I don't need to network. So if you're a person that is shy or can't relate to people, this can work for you. It means you're going to be solopreneur, or whatever they call them. This can work for you. If you're the type that not just networking, you don't want to deal with tenants, because when you're just starting out, let's face it, it's going to be hard to hire a property manager because you don't have enough in cash flow to pay a property manager. So most likely you'll be doing it yourself. You have to have people on your team, the builders, the handyman that'll be fixing things, phone call from tenants when things are broken, when you're on holidays or things. Most landlords I've spoken to, in as much as a lot of people market this as passive income, most landlords I've spoken to, they said, yes, it is passive, but it's not as passive as you would think, because when you're just starting out, you don't have the resources to outsource a lot of things. You're going to have to do it yourself. And dealing with the headache of tenants, you might be unlucky, you get a bad tenant that'll trash the property. Now, this is not me taking a jab at real estate investing. I'm just trying to highlight the difference. If you're the type that loves to network with people, loves to meet people and all that, by all means, property is for you. If you're not the type, you can go into stocks and do what I do, free yourself from all the headaches. Now, capital appreciation applies to both. Stocks appreciate in value, especially the S&P 500. Historically, we've seen that it gives about 8 to 10% a year. Property appreciates in value. Now, property can fly in value when it comes to appreciation. They're not exactly weighing on the same scale. Basically, this is the difference. Now, in this scenario, 560, we are not even considering the dividend. We have not added the dividend in for the stocks or for the SPY into it, or for whichever stock it is you're using, if it's a dividend paying stock. So you have to consider that. If it pays monthly, fine. If it pays quarterly, fine. Add that to it as well. That makes a lot of sense. This is where I end this video for today. But before I go, next week I'm going to be coming up with another video. In that video, I be giving you an update on IWM that I bought. It will be a month exactly by next week when I make the other video to show you how much I have made in IWM without considering whether the stock has gone up in value or down in value. This is what the power of options can do for you. Basically, it's cash flowing. You buy the stock and it's just throwing off cash regardless of how the stock is performing. Now, granted, you don't want to choose a stock that moves all over the place. You want a steady stock, but this guarantees, I wouldn't say guarantee, but this gives continuous passive income as long as you own it. I'll bring that video up next week and I'll share that with you, sharing screen like this. Hope you enjoyed this one. Next week video will be similar, and I hope to catch you again on my next video. Sayonara.